Hello, Wildside Tubers, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy VI, A Brave New World with me, BlueAnkylo. And of course, we've got Sabin Cyan and Shadow, who just made it through the Phantom Forest and fought a very dangerous train, which was a pretty fun fight, a little bit more challenging than you'd expect in the original game, but the mod is definitely up the difficulty. And of course, we had a very touching scene between Cyan's departed family and himself. So we can expect he'll be grieving them for a while. What else is there to say? One thing I want to cover at the beginning of today's episode, before I get down to business. I was looking a little bit into the translations. So, like, I mentioned early on in the series, and I'm sure you guys have noticed, that part of Brave New World has modded some of the script. Like, it's really mostly the same as it was in the original game. But it's changed a few things, and from what reading I've done, the original Final Fantasy VI Japanese script, if you could read Japanese, well, it probably didn't have any curse words. It was definitely a little bit more adult. There was definitely some relatively solid censoring when it moved to North America, which is pretty common for, especially at the time, most video games. So even some of the something that will happen, but some of the sprite work has been censored, where you could see a girl's bum, and then in the the North American version, it was patched so she had shorts on. There's a couple of little things like that, and apparently, although it's hard to say without actually knowing Japanese, but apparently the English translation, the official one, it did tone down a little bit of the language and mature content. Not that the original was terribly crass or anything. But anyway, so the Brave New World mod, the normal version of it, does sort of revert the script closer to sort of the original Japanese intention. I'm no expert, seeing as I don't speak Japanese, but I think they may have taken it a little bit too far. And, you know, up to this point so far in the Let's Play, I haven't seen anything over the top. A few things that I would have cut if I was the final editor. But further on in the game, like I said, I've been playing sort of on my own on the side just to keep ahead of the Let's Play, so I don't die as terribly as possible. But some of the dialogue is a little bit over the top for my liking. And I know on my channel I do try to keep the language, you know, PG-13, so I do sort of apologize for that. One thing I did want to mention, though, specifically about Brave New World, is there is technically two versions of the mod. So if you're playing along, you can do this at any time. You can change your game from the default Brave New World, although you can't see it here, but Brave New World 1.8.6. There's a secondary IPS file that you can patch it with, which is called Clean New World. And what it does is it removes the swear words and some of the more mature content descriptives out of the game. The problem is that even in the README, like the guide for the mod, the modder explains that he really didn't take that seriously, so the dialogue is really silly. Like, I tested some of the early, I played through the first, 10 minutes of the game with the Clean New World on, and while it might remove a couple mild swears or insults, it's replaced with just the most ridiculous junk. Like, it wasn't a serious replacement, is all I'm trying to say. So, I mean, pick and choose. You can either play with some offensive language, or you can play with meaning, like it was done almost on purpose to make fun of you for not wanting offensive language. So, you know, that's your decision anyway. Like I said, the mod's not going to be perfect for everyone, but hopefully you can survive the script one way or the other. I assume the majority of people just don't care, and this is fine. I'm just, you know, from my perspective, I would prefer if the game's script held a little bit truer to the original game. That's all. Anyway, let's continue, you know, fighting enemies here. Is there anything else I was going to say about... I don't think there's anything else to talk about. I just wanted to cover the scripting a little bit, because that was a bit of an issue, and I've been conflicted on my own, trying to decide whether or not that was going to be a problem for my my channel, basically. But we'll stick with it as it is, and we'll manage, I hope. So, you know, we're almost through this area. I wasn't expecting quite this many random encounters, but those of you who are familiar with this game probably are yelling at me, Blue, you need to unequip some equipment really soon, or else you're going to lose it for a while. One of the cool things about Brave New World, and there's a lot of good things about it for every 1 or 2 bad things. One of the cool things is they auto-unequip characters in general when they leave. Not every time perfectly, but especially if they're leaving, you know, permanently, they're not coming back soon, all of their equipment will be removed when they leave the party. So, like, the difference is, like, when we finished Terra's scenario, her equipment was not unequipped, because we're going to be getting her back soon, but someone who's going to leave for a longer term, maybe? I don't want to spoil anything, but someone might leave for a longer term. You won't need to worry about it. Although, if you're playing the unmodded version, before you walk up here, you should really unequip some of Shadow's gear. Especially his relics. Alright, Beren Falls. So, I mean, it looks like a pretty impressive waterfall. I'm not sure exactly what the point is, though. You just took us to a cliff. Cyan, I mean, you can't trust this guy. He just watched his kingdom and his family get cut down. He's probably just trying to jump to his death. Yeah, Shadow knows. The Reaper's always one step behind, but this is just too close for comfort. I do like that Sabin and Shadow get along for some reason, though. Like, they always seem to be buds. Anyway, make sure everyone's healed up, and I believe, unless I've been lied to, but yeah, anything that Shadow was equipped with was immediately returned to the party, basically. So we should have a spare sword here, yeah. Both of them use the same type of main hand weapon. The difference is Cyan two-hands it, and Shadow ends up dual-wielding, which is kind of cool. Okay. Why not, right? Why not? It's not like we have any other options. I'm still getting some weird sound glitches. I don't know if it's part of the ROM hack or not. I don't remember this audio cutting out like that in certain maps before, so I do apologize. I don't know why that's happening to me. At least, like, the majority of the game's music is working fine. The little sprite overlaps with the menu. That's always been in the game as far as I'm aware. I'm pretty sure even if you're playing it on a Super Nintendo, like the actual cart, unless I've gone completely crazy, I believe that happens there just the same, so that's just a bug. I mean, it could have been emulator induced, but I don't think so. So anyway, there's just piranhas attacking us while we're falling down a cliff, or a waterfall. How are we able to do a suplex while falling is beyond me, but don't argue with Sabin, or you'll get suplexed into next week. Haha! It has become my favorite move that Sabin has, very, very easily. I think if you win these fights slower, you actually get less rounds of combat. So if you take these guys out really quickly, you end up fighting more of them, I believe. Not that you get anything for it, but... Alright, there we go. That's the last one. And he's special. Because he's purple. How much is that gonna hurt? Yeah, that's pretty rough. So, I'm gonna try something with Cyan, seeing as he's learned this level 3 Bushido. I'm hoping that this heals him significantly. And then I don't have to worry about him healing himself. Alright, that was pretty good. I also want, because this is technically a boss, I would love to get the sap effect on him. So if I pummel him now, and then heal up, he'll be taking damage over time, and we will be healing. Because we heal very slowly, we waste a lot of turns trying to get Sabin's HP back up. It's what I'm trying to argue. Just nice to get that damage over time in there early. I think we'll be fine at this point. It's possible you could drain the boss's MP so that he can't use magic, but I also know that most enemies use skills like that for free. They don't actually cast, like, they don't actually spend MP to use most of their attacks. So unless you're seeing an enemy using, like, traditional black or white magic that you know the spell, that, like, something that Terra can cast, It's probably not something that you can stop via MP drain. But you could try it out, never know. Maybe it'll work. Don't let me stop you. Anyway, we successfully fought off all the piranhas, and then fell to our death off of the waterfall. So, like, what'd you really expect? We're strong enough to fight piranhas while falling down a waterfall for a minute, but can't survive contact with water at that speed. Now the locals have come to feast on our flesh. I would assume. Draped in monster hides, eyes shining with a boy surviving against all odds. That much is true. Everyone say hello to Gao. Everyone's love it or hate it. Pretty much the most love or hate character in the game, I believe. I generally hate him, but I do understand why some people love him. I can't, so. Everyone say hello to Gao. Hi, Gao. Well, it looks like Sabin shook it off again. He's pretty hard to kill. Oh. Apparently the kid's spooked easily. So, one thing of note, most of your characters will be... It's actually interesting for Final Fantasy, because if you're used to, like, the more modern Final Fantasies, as of recording, you know, 13 and 15, the main characters in the last, like, 10, 15 years, ever since, like, Final Fantasy 7 and 8... particularly 7 and 8, the main characters have always been like 17-year-olds. Just out of high school or something like that, give or take. In Final Fantasy 6, they're actually a little bit older, right? Like, Cyan had a wife and a kid. They call him Old Man, although he's probably supposed to be like 30 or something. I forget his exact age. It's in some book somewhere. Sabin's... You could find his age out as well, but he's not supposed to be a teenager, I don't think. He's been out training, like, he was a teenager when... his dad, the king, died, but then he went out and trained for like 10 years or something, I think. Someone like Terra is like 17, but, you know, most of the characters are probably proper adults. So when you find Gao, who's actually a kid, he's supposed to be like 12 or something, it's a little bit unusual. Instead of like, you know, nowadays Final Fantasy, you've got a bunch of 17-year-olds and some 7-year-old who's really good with, I don't know, bowling balls or some stupid new era weapon. Oh, anyway, welcome to the Veldt. The music's cool. Be careful. Remember how I've warned you guys that Brave New World doesn't pull its punches? This is the kind of area where it really doesn't pull its punches. I actually kind of really need those bombs to die again. I have probably died on random encounters more here than anywhere else in Brave New World. We really don't do much damage right now. That's gonna be annoying. Alright, well, the bomb blew up. Not much I could have done about it. At least we didn't instantly die. Please kill the Conjurer twice, quickly. The good news is Re-Raise should still resurrect him with no action bar. So, he kind of misses a turn because we killed him. Oh, come on. This is not the time for missing techs. Please don't die, Cyan. Okay, good dodge. How often do you get a magic attack block? I'm gonna have to check his stats there. Because that zap would have killed him. Well, maybe not. But I think it would have done more than... Normally it does more than 29 damage. Oh, hi, Gal. What's up? Want to get suplexed? Get out of here, kid. Yep. Hey, thanks for the Phoenix down. And the money. It's not from Gao. You get that from the fight. He doesn't give you anything. I think in the original game, he, like, sort of cries when you hit him if you do that. Now, you may notice that I have an item here. I probably could have done something different, but you're not supposed to know that yet. Anyway, because this area could literally kill us in any random battle, it's probably a good idea to save after every fight. If I were you, I would be saving more often than I am. This fight shouldn't be too bad, though. None of these guys can insta-kill us. Oh yeah, I was gonna check Cyan's magic block. I bet it's like 10% or something. Feels like maybe maybe one of the channels, left or right, is not working properly. For some sound effects. I wonder if that's the problem with my... Like, the river sound effect is not quite coming in all the way, because maybe it's missing one of the two channels for left and right stereo. The sound? Well, stereos, I can hear it. If I switch to stereo, I can hear it, it does the correct, you know, double left-right audio. And mono kills it. The next time I get those weird sound effects, I should test that out. Okay, one step? Oh, thanks, video game. Making Let's Plays interesting every day. I did not even remember to check Cyan's, whatchamacallit, block. Alright, kid. You survived a suplex. Get out of here. Punk. There we go. Now he's getting mad at us. Just gotta keep beating him up for a little bit longer. Before I forget, let me see here. Yeah, 16% magic block. The fact that that zap missed him when he was about to die is a miracle. Alright, Veldt. I'm getting sick of your stuff. At least these are easy fights. If we run into a double albatross fight, we'll probably be dead. You'll see. Seriously? You can try again? Alright, this time, Cyan. I don't care if you're hungry. What do you think this is? Blow his mind. He didn't like that, did he? Hey, he's telling us to go away. I'm telling him to go away. He keeps coming at us, trying to beg for food. Foolish child. Oh, come on. We're almost there. Well, the good news is we know that dispatch works extra well on these guys. Oh, by the way, so the Veldt mechanics, you will only fight enemies here that you have already encountered somewhere else in the game. So you're only fighting enemies you've seen before, basically. And you do not get experience here. There you go. Don't miss. Thank you. Very cranky child. So yeah, we're only fighting enemies we've seen before. No experience, no level ups. There's something we can do here. You'll see soon enough. Alright, let's check out the town. Finally got out of that terrible, terrible plane. It was a terrible idea. I'm not sure how we survived it. Sabin, I guess the truth is, Sabin is just invincible. You can never kill him. Welcome to Mobliz. Nothing exciting ever happens here. I mean, you know, those of you not familiar with the story, that means nothing. Nothing will ever happen to this place, I'm sure. Carrier pigeons. Honestly, if you lived in a place like this, with monsters around like they have in the Veldt, I don't know if I'd want to stay here that bad. It's like Australia, basically. A house way up north? So I don't know how they know about this, but yeah, way past Doma. Remember that? This is where Sabin started his adventure at the end of the Leet River. That sounds suspicious. Yeah, beasts and vagrants from all over the world migrate here. I basically figure they just wash down the river, and then they're just stuck here, basically. And no boats ever come here, because why would they? Luckily, we got weapons shops. Nothing for either Cyan or Sabin. We could buy a Mithril Bolo if we wanted, but no point. Just save your money. We'll actually get to a much better shop before too much longer. And then, there's nothing here we need either. So yeah, obviously this place, just like real Australia, has nothing worth buying. Clearly. I'm not even joking. I got nothing against Australia, but this is clearly Final Fantasy VI Australia. They probably should have given more of the characters in this town an Australian accent. That would have been a good decision. You know, if they're gonna make all their changes to the script, They definitely could have made Mobliz the Australian city. That'd be fine. Mobliz. I didn't even say the name right, did I? Not this guy. Mobliz, not Moblitz. Come on, get your game together, Blue. You see all kinds of strange things. Can't believe everything someone tells you. Let's see. So Green Cherry counters Berserk, I think? But so does a Remedy, and it's not as, like, Poison and Blind you can cure for 1/3 of the price, but you're only curing Berserk for, like, 2/3. Not saving you much. Holy Water, you need to reverse the zombie effect, death. Tonics, you can see here, half your HP in the mod, which is finally at the point where 150 HP is better than 100. But, I mean, just look at the price. We're paying 10 times as much for not much better healing. Oh, the kid steals the dried meat, hey? Why? Okay, answer me this. Why were you throwing dried meat into a herd of animals? Is that just the... This is what Australians do? You just take meat out, find a herd of... I don't know. What do they have in Australia? Kangaroos? Are there herds of kangaroos? Just throw some meat out there and wild children steal it from you? I've never been there. It seems plausible. Alright, Serpent Trench. Let's learn about the Serpent Trench. If you had a helmet, you could make it to Nikia. Well, one of you could. Unless you figured out a way to share it. See, this kind of change to the script, if you remember what it said originally, is totally fine. Because I think originally the script just said, if you had a helmet, you could make it to Nikia. Nike. Ah. Well, one of you. Because you'll see soon enough, but, like, that is a good plot hole, filling up a plot hole there. At your service. Well, I'll be taking your elixirs. Oh, I think if I'd said no to this guy, he would have shown me where the Serpent Trench is also. Seems to be all the rage, right? Yeah, here you go. Just in case you're wondering what that is. It's a underwater, kind of like a tunnel, I guess. So the current flows really quickly between the Veldt and essentially Nikia. It's weird. How do these people know that? If you just hop in, you get taken... There must have been a lot of corpses that washed up in Nikia, is all I can say. Because how else would you know that? Uh-oh. A soldier? See, I don't know what the point of that is. I don't remember what the kid said originally, but see, some changes aren't needed. Some soldier that gets letters from Miranda. Well, that's peculiar. So he was forced to join the army from the Empire. He's from Miranda. So, I believe that he is supposed to be the soldier that we met outside of the Imperial camp in just beside Doma. That was talking about, like, I think he's supposed to be the one that Leo said, you got family back in Miranda. Don't risk your life, kid. So he's like, all right, I'm out of here as soon as Leo left. And then Kefka probably broke his legs or something. And then threw him in the river, so he ended up here. As always happens, as has been established. Glad we worked that out. I can't get used to Imperial troopers walking the streets of Miranda, but otherwise things are okay. Flowers are blooming in this garden, telling me spring is here. How are you doing? I'm so worried I wish I could fly to your side. Rest, and know that I think about you constantly. Come back to me. So he's got a girlfriend, her name's Lola, but he can't even write back because Kefka also broke his arms. Pretty much what you'd expect. So what do you do about this? Poor guy got a wife or a girlfriend or something. You can't even write to her. You can spend some money and write our own letter. I don't know what Sabin would have written. To be fair, canonically, Cyan actually wrote that letter. Cyan, for whatever reason, takes much more interest in helping this soldier out, who, well, he may have been one of the guys he almost cut down outside of Doma as well, technically. But he can feel for someone missing their spouse. Oh, good. So, prepare thyself. They are discovering what love is. Yeah, there it is. Ah, that's a groaner. That's a groaner, isn't it? Alright, so they sell some terrible relics, fine. Luckily, you don't even have to go to the inn here. You can just sleep in the relic shop. That's what you get for selling garbage. Steal your bed. The other thing is, basically, whenever time flies by, you can actually see this guy. This is like the postman, basically. I used to think that if you followed him around, you could keep track of him sending the letter from the soldier, and then when a reply came back, and then he delivered it. I don't think it actually does anything like that, but, I mean, that's what he does all day, but it's triggered more when you rest at the inn or sleep, or a couple other triggers that can reset this, this quest. Alright, I'll read it for you. I can't find your favorite record. I thought I'd play it and feel like you were with me, but... Instead of finishing her letter, she just let it trail off and then put it on the carrier pigeon. Look, we're not saying Lola is incredibly intelligent, okay, guys? She does care for him, but she's not very good at finishing her letters. 500 GP, alright. Now, while this is going on, I think we'll go find this child in the wild. So, because normally, the reason I waited here, normally in Final Fantasy VI, you can't buy dried meat until you have gone to Mobliz. It just happens in the mod you can buy dried meat earlier. But, yeah, so we could have actually had him join us immediately. Oh no, oh no. Okay, we might die. Like, seriously. Just give me a second here, see what happens. I hope I clicked 3 there. Okay, that wasn't too bad. That's not the attack I wanted. Oh, that is really bad. One misclick. Alright. So we're in a bit of trouble. That should survive you for 1 hit. Oh no, we're dead. Run! I told you this fight is just impossible. Please run. Thank you. Alright, that's fine. This is... I was gonna say, this is why I was close to town, so I could just, you know, hop back in there and rest up. Well, I'm glad I did an emergency save state. Let's try this again. I really don't want to have to rely on, I don't want to rely on save states. That's not the kind of gamer, let's player I want to aspire to. But these Albatross fights are insanely bad at this point in the game. I guess, I don't think they counter physical attacks, but if you don't deal damage quickly enough, they just cast Fireball anyway. Okay, well, I actually did more damage than I was expecting. So, never mind. I take it back. Just don't use blitzes on them. Alright, so anyway, the secret is throw food at the boy. And then suplex him again. No? Thou art a strange one. No more food for you, kid. Then go get... This kid is so rude. I'm totally on Sabin's side, right? You guys are all on Sabin's side. Look, we can suplex you into next week if you want. Alright. Take him out, Sabin. Honestly, this would be done in one blow. But they gotta make Gao look like he's tougher than he really is. Knock him out. Come on. Ow, hey, Cyan, come on. Oh, rough, rude, and wild one, who art thou? Gao is the worst. I think it's because it rhymes with his name. I just love the little animation on Gao here. Yeah, come on, Gao. Have a heart. Oh, I'm sure it'll be a really good present. Nice gift and thanks for food. A shiny present. It's really shiny. Thanks. The unreasonably large sword. Thank you. It is too bad Locke isn't here. He probably would. Yeah, I don't even know these lines, and yeah, actually, that's what he would do. Smack him. I guess I will give the poor kid that he's been living in the wilderness for, well, since he was a baby, and is not really good with people. I don't really hate Gao. You'll see. You'll see. Alright, so Cyan is where the river dumped us. Sabin's the city we were at, and Gao is the mountain. Okay. Go to the mountain. I always thought that was one of the more bizarre cutscenes in the game. And then they follow it up with an even more ridiculous one. Hey, Kappa. Just like a fairy. So yeah, this is the mechanic for Gao. I'll explain it in a minute. It's not a big deal. In the original game, you had to wait a few battles before he came back. In the mod, he just comes back immediately. So, they actually should have updated this little text, I believe. Because that is not correct anymore. Because he comes back as soon as the battle's over. In the original game, he'd fight, like he'd jump, and then he'd disappear from your party for a couple battles, and then he'd rejoin you at the end of another fight. That's not how it works anymore. Minor nitpick, but... technicalities, everyone. Technicalities. Alright, say hello to Gao after we heal up a little bit. So, my problem with Gao is, well, you basically have to put him in the back row or he's dead. Especially at this point in the game. His stats aren't really that impressive, and he's really fragile, like no HP at all. His thing is he uses rages, and at start, he has one. Now, he's got much fewer total rages than there were in the original game, which is probably good, because it was just... there were so many, you could never remember easily what they all did. Like, you had to memorize like 128 or something different enemy names, and what that means his attack will be based on that type. So, with the Brave New World patch, there is like a little spreadsheet file that comes with it. It has a list of all of the rages he can learn, i.e. all of the enemies he can add to his rage list. And for each enemy, there is 2 different types of special attacks that they can do. I have not memorized them. Sometimes one of the 2 attacks is just attack, and the other one will be a special skill. Sometimes they're both special skills. One of them is common, like 2/3 of the time, and the other attack is rare 1/3 of the time. So, that's the basic mechanic. It'll explain it better in a minute here. He needs evasion if he needs anything, so he basically gets Shadow's gear. Oh good, I got an email. I think we can also give him a shield. And he needs every point of defense you can give him, because he goes down way too easily, in my opinion. Like, it's really quite difficult to keep him alive at this point in the game. Now, mind you, when I was playing the first time through, I didn't put him in the back row like this. I'll go deal with that the soldier from Miranda in a minute. I just want to, I'll put a save in just in case, but I want to show how his rage works. So, Tech Armor. This is an enemy that he has not learned yet, because he's not in, the Tech Armor is not in his list yet. So then what you do is you use Leap. He disappears from combat until you win the fight. So normally, if you're playing the original game, he's now gone from your party, and he'd be missing for a couple battles. But in Brave New World, he shows up immediately anyway, which is good, because now he just has that rage. So he's learned Tech Armor. Okay, so that's learning new techs, easy enough. We should also show using them, and what does that mean? And this is kind of why I'm not a huge fan of Gal. Oh, well, we'll be okay. Not very much damage. Well, we'll probably be okay. So let's try the Tech Armor. We just learned this. What happens when you select it? Well, he does a cool Metal Fist attack. It did some damage. Not really very much. And if you noticed his little animation on his sprite there, he is now essentially in Berserk mode. So he will just attack automatically. And you basically have no control over him. You can't cancel his... he can't cancel his rage. You can't have him use an item or magic or anything. He's... Once you've set that, he's just in that mode for the rest of the battle, basically. And that's kind of annoying. I mean... It's difficult to work through. It's not impossible to work around. It's just, it makes it difficult. Also, I should have had him leap in that fight to learn more stuff. The other thing is, we can equip this. I don't know what it does. I don't think this is something he could equip in the original game. So this is something from Brave New World. I know what it would do in the original game, but I don't know what it will do in this version. Normally, this would only be equipable by someone else. It looks like it makes him immune to lightning. The little lightning bolt element by no effect. But that's not much, if that's all it does. I don't know. I'll give it to him one way or the other. The other ones could at least give him some stats, so... That's not going to help. That's not going to help. Vigor might help a little bit. It's hard to say. So we'll go like that for now. So let's just try to learn like 1 or 2 more, and then we'll call that good for now. I'll maybe spend a bit of time off camera trying to learn as many as I can, because we're going to leave the Veldt pretty soon. And I'd like to at least have him learn as many as possible. I really don't know which ones are good right now. I'm still pretty new to the Brave New World mechanics. I know that they've weakened a lot of his originally very powerful abilities. Stray Cat and the Cat Scratch used to be incredibly overpowered in the original game, and there was a few others that were really, really strong. I've heard they've been sort of nerfed. They're no longer quite as amazing as they were in the old days. So that's something. I mean, I don't know. I've also heard that they've made some of the other rages that used to be terrible a little bit better. Again, take my word for it. I couldn't prove it yes or no right now. The other thing I was going to mention is So I told you guys earlier that in the Veldt, you will only fight enemies you've already encountered in other areas. You will also only encounter enemy groups that have an enemy that have a learnable rage. So there won't be encounters in here that are completely useless for Gao. Now, like, that doesn't mean... I don't mean to say, now that he's learned... this is also sorted alphabetically, I believe. Which is better than it used to be. It used to be just random. Like, now that he has learned the Wild Rat Rage, that does not mean we'll never fight them again. All I mean to say is that every enemy you fight in here has a rage, rather than some enemies that exist in the game that... Like, not every single enemy in the game can be rage learned, basically. And the ones that you can't... Like, remember... Right outside of South Figaro, there was a couple enemies we fought. There was like a Rhydon and some sort of bunny thing that cast White Wind. I was hoping that those would be enemies that you could learn rages from, because I would love to have White Wind on Gao. But they will never show up here because they're not valid rages, basically. And having Gao in the back row still does mean he will do half damage with any kind of physical skill. So you'd have to be, like, you only want him in the back row if you have a rage that uses, like, magic or something that you know he could use. If I can find those albatrosses who were using Fireball on us, I would like to learn their rage. Here's one. Perfect. And then this way, I can keep him in the back row, and he will still use, like, magic attacks, although... Like I said before, there's sort of random variance on what ability he uses. It's probably... Maybe it's 2/3 of the time it would be Fireball from the Albatross, and 1/3 of the time it would be a physical attack. I don't know exactly, but... So after this fight, I will stop on camera learning rages, but I will probably spend a little bit more time before we leave the area, just to try to be thorough. I really can't say if I'm going to have the patience to learn all of his rages in the entire game. In the original game, the vanilla Final Fantasy VI, you can only leap in the Veldt, so if you run into an enemy elsewhere with Gao in your party, he cannot... The leap command is hidden, so you can't learn them in other areas. In Brave New World, though, not everywhere, but lots of other areas, if you're fighting enemies who you can learn rages from, he will have the option to jump, leap. So you can theoretically learn them on the fly in other areas as well, which is... It helps. So, like I said, I mean, he's still got a long ways to go, right? Like, let's just have a quick look. So he picked up, like, 2... 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 out of probably 64 or something. I don't know. It's a good start. But there's so many. Like, we can't get them all right now. We'd have to come back to the Veldt later on. But I'll try to... I don't know if I'll go for 100%, but I'll try to get most of them if I can. Alright, let's continue this side quest before we end the episode. I was hoping to finish Sabin's scenario entirely, but just got bogged down by random encounters. Mother's taken ill. We can't afford medicine. If only we had some tonic. Tonic is way too expensive. But we do need to continue this quest for reasons. I also would like some more money. I would like to have over 10,000 gil before we leave this area, or GP. So I don't mind grinding in the Veldt for a little while. Seeing as you get no experience, you can't level up. All you're doing is learning rages and making a little bit of money. Some battles give you pretty good money, so it's not bad. Oh, no letter? Maybe sleeping in that bed actually doesn't trigger it. What I usually do is just rest at the inn. I'm usually not a cheapskate, so cheap that I steal a bed. I feel like the inn is my usual resets point. I think there's like maybe a shopkeeper you can talk to that resets the mail timer as well, but That kind of stuff's not a big deal. We're not speed running here, right? Alright, there it is. I haven't heard from you in a whole week. I'm so worried. It's been literally like 10 seconds. I say literally, but we slept overnight. I hate how pervasive that word has become. Everyone just, literally this, literally that. I'm sorry, everyone. Send a letter. Alright. Now let's try, I'm going to test out my theory here. What if we just talk to this guy and then go into the house? Is that enough to reset the mail? Yeah, it might be all it is. You just talk to a shopkeeper. You said you were reading a book. If only I could read it too. So, like, this is going to take a couple minutes. There's not too many more phases left, though. Don't worry. Just spending all our money sending letters and books and medicine to Miranda. Probably a big con job. She's already moved on, got a new boyfriend, but as long as her old boyfriend keeps sending her money, it's all good. Oh, it didn't trigger this time? Oh, I see. So, we're at the end of the quest already. Life Bell. It had a weird name in the original game. I forget the exact name of it. This is a reasonably good item. I think in the original game, it restored HP as you walked on the overworld or the town, I think. But this one just gives you auto regen, which is nice. It's probably better than some of the stuff we've got equipped. Well, it depends on if we're going to get poisoned or not. But free healing is free healing. Whatever, I don't really care right now. But that's that. So I think we'll end the episode here. What I'll do in between episodes is I'll try to fill in as many of Gal's rages. I'll try to learn as many as I can while we're here. And I'll try to get a little bit of GP, maybe 1,000, maybe 10,000 or so, because I know there's a better shop coming up really soon. And then next episode we'll explore that Crescent Mountain with the shiny in it. Alright, folks? Sorry we didn't make a lot of progress today, but we did lots of talking, right? All kinds of talking. Alright, folks. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. I will see you next time for more exciting Final Fantasy.